Happy Wednesday, VV Nation. My name is Ryan. Welcome to the channel. Welcome to Afternoon Market Action. Yes, you may notice a change today. Glenn is not here. He's still out in Hawaii. Last short update we got, he was on the road to Hana. I've been out there in Hawaii. It's absolutely beautiful. Now, before we get any further, please, in the comment section, put VV Nation. If I'm coming across loud and clear, you can see my screen. The alert will be hitting in about 1 minute, so I'll give everyone a chance to make their way into the room. All right, VV Nation, you guys can hear me, you can see me. Hey, Kiwi, hey, Matthew, Skyper, Shaka, Glenn. I think Glenn might like that name. Let's see here. Brenda, good afternoon, Chris. Yes, everyone's making their way in. I see the views going up here. Let's see, sunny, windy, Arizona. Yeah, here in Charlotte, North Carolina, it looks like spring finally might be making its way. We got beautiful weather, about 70 degrees outside right now. So I cannot complain at all. Now, there's one thing on our mind and one thing on everybody's mind that's coming to join us, and that's going to be Nvidia. Nvidia, their earnings is after the bell today. Just to give you a heads up, we will be doing a live stream. It'll start at 4:45. The earnings call is at 5 p.m., so listen to it for a little bit until you guys get tired, and then we'll call it an evening. But on top of that, if you did not already know, Jensen, the CEO of Nvidia, will be doing an interview on CNBC at 7. Now, I won't be covering that, but if you got money in AI, semiconductors, Nvidia, obviously, definitely check out his interview on CNBC. Hello, all Boston. But yeah, so just keep an eye on that because I have a feeling what his comments, obviously there's going to be some overlap with the earnings call. But I think that the attention will definitely be on that interview, right? We'll see how that comes out. All right, the viewership is up. So let's get started, right? We saw a little bit of optimism in the market. SMCI, they had, their financial information had to be submitted. It looks like they are going to be compliant. The stock was up 22% at some point. We'll take a look at that one as well. But the optimism, as we get closer and closer to NVIDIA's earnings, just faded away into the abyss. Now, we do see a little bit of a slowdown, some of this downward momentum today with 3 yellow lights across the board. But again, NVIDIA, that's the reason why these yellow lights are here. If there's any bad news or, the sentiment is just not there when it comes to investors and what they hear from the earnings call, NVIDIA could easily put in 3 red lights back in that column come tomorrow. Now, let's go into the VectorVest market timing graph. Just want to get sentiment of the intraday. You can see clear downtrend here, struggling to get above that trend line. Zoom into 3 months. You see the levels I've had here. I mentioned this on the daily color guard report quite a bit. We've approached these in the past, right? Nice bottom dip, opportunities here. But, we did get a bounce back, but look, the upper wick currently trading lower than the open. I'm not really getting sold on this bounce today, right? And if we notice back here, this is 2 moving averages we utilize for our RT Kicker combo system, RT, right? And especially if you're swing trading, if you're trying to buy a dip, more active style of trading, not necessarily investing. This does a great job keeping you on the right side of the trade. You can see upwards momentum here, lasting for a little while, a little weakness here, but definitely both of these moving averages now moving lower, showing that, the bears obviously having a little bit more say than the bulls right now. No bounce. We were up plus 50 on the SPX, and now we are down. Okay, so we're not getting much of a bounce there. And while we're doing that, let's go to stock. Let's take a look at these here. We got the VectorVest Composite. We do the SPY and QQQ. Just see what. All right, so you can see here we got the buying pressure, a little bit of follow through, but just at the adverse effect, we're getting rejection at this level here at 70.81. So let's see. Let's go to 3 months. S&P looks like almost a triple top formation. Look, 1, 2, 3, third rejection. Upper wick today. I see what you're talking about, John. That bounce that we had. And honestly, I'm thinking that, Nvidia, perfect day for, some kind of dead cat bounce scenario here. but we're just not giving the follow through. It's all going to come down to Nvidia's earnings call. And I'm not going to, we're so close to the earnings right now. Any kind of options trades, especially for the buyer of the options, the premiums are outrageous right now. Might be best sit with this. And even some alternative trades like SMCI, AMD, TSM, all trading at very high premiums right now. So if you're holding these type of stocks and you're nervous about going into, Nvidia's earnings, and you put some insurance, sell some calls against them, especially now, but you're going to get a lot more premium than you're typically going to do. But yeah, I just don't see the bullish momentum there. And let's take a look at the Qs, because obviously that's going to be important with Nvidia. A double top there. Right on this level of support here at 509. Currently we're sitting at 512. Now my key level here, it's going to be 500 to 493. We are approaching that right now. We got the 200-day moving average if we go to 1 year. That actually might be the dip. We saw back here, last time it hit that 200-day moving average, buyers coming in, almost immediately, especially on that same day here. The gap down, nice open style candlestick. I see a nice support level with the 200-day moving average. A couple days from now, that 200-day moving average potentially could be up in the support zone or near it. I'm not a buyer right now. I do see a little bit more downside potential, but again, it's all about what Nvidia's got to do, right? Because if what investors hear and they don't like it, we get a gap down, it's not going to help any of these major indexes. So let's close out of this for now. And we're actually going to pull up the news story, see what's moving the market real quick. All right, so first thing I want, and this actually just came out not long ago, this morning here at 10:30, Amazon unveils revamped Alexa with AI features for $19.99 per month, free for Prime members. Now, I read the article here. Essentially, Alexa, with the rise of ChatGPT and some of these other AI services, Amazon's Alexa is falling through the cracks, essentially, right? It's old, it's outdated, it doesn't do half the stuff some of the other AI components do. But now they're changing that, right? Look, Amazon's established an early lead in AI voice software, but the rise of ChatGPT made Alexa and other assistants like it appear outdated, right? So this is really where the rubber meets the road when it comes to making money off of this AI technology, right? These companies invested a lot of money, billions, really trillions, if you put all the companies together. This here is an opportunity for Amazon to start making some money. I see, Ryan, when you said Alexa, my Alexa device went off. That thing is such a pain. See, John, Alexa was real smart, when she first came out, but she doesn't seem that smart nowadays. You can see Amazon, trying to correct that issue, because Alexa is going to be a huge, if not the main component of their AI infrastructure ecosystem, right? So they've got to step it up there. You can see it's up slightly right now, 0.18%. Amazon was in the 230s. It took a dip. Am I going to buy the dip right now? No, not with the market the way it is, but I would put Amazon on my list. Keep it on your radar. This one is definitely got some big things in the work here. But yeah, Linda, I agree with John. Alexa just kind of fell by the wayside here, especially with the rise of some of these other AI assistant services, you could say. Here's another one, right? SMCI files financials just ahead of NASDAQ deadline and says it regained compliance. Stock pops 22%. I know yesterday was a huge dip on SMCI. I've been talking about that 200-day moving average. Last time I looked, it is back above. Oh, my mic fell off. There we go. Last time I looked, it was back above. It's hovering right near that 200-day moving average. If we get any follow-through above it, it's going to be from Nvidia. That's the only reason why, suggested Supermicro, broke a downward trend line, way undervalued. The price action very suppressed. It was in the high 20s. Just leading up to Nvidia, Supermicro seemed like a good play, and that's why I, put a couple shorts out there on it. I think I did a 6 p.m. video as well. Now, as far as Supermicro, any follow-through, again, it's going to be off of what Nvidia says from the AI data centers and what kind of growth is to be expected there, right? Because there are headwinds. You know, there's China, there's supply chains, tariffs, things of that nature. But again, all of those items will be addressed. It doesn't really matter what I think or what I say. It matters what the CEO says from NVIDIA and how investors interpret that, okay? Now, this is with NVIDIA. Look at this. An entire trading ecosystem built around NVIDIA alone is poised for a test again. I thought this was a really interesting article. Just because every time, you know, we do this 4 times a year, and as far as NVIDIA, we've been doing at least the last year. But every time, you know, we get up to NVIDIA's earnings, it feels like the whole market is relying on NVIDIA, right? And it does really show the importance of this company, you know, not just with semiconductors, but you've got AI-related stocks, right? Even some of the Mag 7, you know, can gain some momentum for what NVIDIA does. Let's see here. I was at a wake. Oh, yeah. You will get friend suggestions from Meta, depending on where you're at. Alexa is listening even when you don't want it to. I don't doubt that at all. I think everything's listening when you don't want it to. You know, your phone, all those devices, they're collecting data, right? All right, so last one. We all know about NVIDIA. You know, it's got a huge trading ecosystem. You know, within that ecosystem, I had mentioned SMCI over the last 2 weeks. You see that trade worked out pretty well. But as far as the earnings, look at this. With the possible expectation of Tesla, no other stock generates the kind of short-term trading interest NVIDIA does. And yeah, I do, just like Tesla, you do get, you know, kind of a cult-ish following when it comes to NVIDIA, right? All right, so last story, going to be Snowflake. There are some other big earnings other than NVIDIA after the bell. Salesforce, if I'm not mistaken, I believe that is today. And then Snowflake. You know, Snowflake does report after the bell today. Yeah, I like this article here. A stellar rally is likely coming. Now, it's their cloud-based service platform, right? So they're going to move, you know, with the tech space. You know, NVIDIA probably going to affect their price as well. But look, this stock got a buy rating with a price target at $212, driven by strong and rapid growth in the TAM. Now, their revenues grew up 38% year over year. Projected to grow 29% year over year in 2025. So I can see exactly why there's a lot of hype, especially when the stock first came out. Definitely a lot of hype with this stock here. But we're going to break it down in the VectorVest 7 system. This will be an honorable mention today. John says IBIT is turning into a certified Glenn poopy stock. Well, John, you know, if we don't get, and I talked about this on Power Hour, if we don't get those reserves, you know, the crypto reserves that there's a lot of, you know, talk and ambition about, you know, crypto winter could be around the corner, right? And it is a very volatile asset. You know, it's crypto, right? Just because we got ETFs tracking crypto doesn't mean it's any less volatile. And that's what I was talking about before. You know, leveraging crypto is a dangerous game because it's already so volatile as it is. Oh, Glenn is here. Hey, Glenn. Oh, man, I know. What island are you at, Glenn? He's in the comment section here. He's out in Hawaii doing a cruise throughout Hawaii. He was on the road to Hana not too long ago. I think it was the last post I saw him, or last short I saw him post. It was beautiful. I've only been to Hawaii once. Maui. Definitely worth checking out sometime. All right, yeah, Big Brother is definitely watching. So yeah, just, you know, a heads up here. There are other stocks reporting other than NVIDIA. Now, I know they may not be on your radar. They may not be as important to the broad market, but they are important nonetheless. Now let me close that out. Those are the news stories for today. We're going to the viewers section here. Let's go to my picks here off those stories. I'm going to take a look at Snowflake more in particular here. SMCI up 12% now. It's actually dropped below that 200-day moving average at 51.33. So again, just be careful. We're seeing some rejection there. NVIDIA up today, but still at 129. That's kind of my key level is 129. We're going to take a look at NVIDIA as well. We got Snowflake. Snowflake's at the bottom of the list. Look, the stock we valued at $20. Currently trading at 165. Definitely the most overvalued stock here by far. Yeah, this doesn't look good on paper, right? But let's take a look at the chart, see if any opportunities are presenting themselves there. Here we've got NVIDIA. We'll go to 6 months. Now, NVIDIA, I was talking about this on the Power Hour live stream where we go over your stocks. What does this look like? All right, pretty wide, but a descending channel nonetheless. Oh, wait, nope, not there. 1 year. There we go. Pretty wide descending channel. So just be careful. One thing I did note for some optimism yesterday was that 200-day moving average, seeing the bounce there. But I also have a 20-day EMA for my more short-term traders. Look at this. Long rejection. Look at that candlestick there. I don't like it at all. And I was looking at the spread because, you know, the options market's putting about 11 buck spread on Nvidia based on the earnings, right? So earlier today when we were talking about this, you know, even if it jumps up that 11 points at 129 right now, that puts it right at the top of the channel and subject for another rejection. I'd want to see a good break above this channel here. But honestly, if you're in it, as long as it stays above the 200-day moving average, you know, not too concerned there. But it's all going to be based on the earnings here. It's a great company. Obviously, we all know about that. We're just going to have to see what is really said in the earnings call, because I know the DeepSeek fears, China, things of that nature. Let's see if what Jensen says can kind of relieve some of that anxiety when it comes to investors and traders, when it comes to Nvidia. But right now, I mean, it's a clear downtrend. You know, it is what it is. You got several touches on both sides. The channel has been clearly marked here. So just be careful. Just be careful. You know, we'll see what kind of gap up or gap down situation we get. But overall, I did do a video last night. I did say in the long term, well, within 6 months to a year, I do see Nvidia hitting into the 170s. That was my price target on it in the video last night. But again, you know, this is an important earnings from a technical standpoint, right? Because if we gap down way below this 200-day moving average and potentially break, you know, my support level here, 119, that's not going to be good at all. Hey, Glenn, see you, man. Enjoy your vacation, buddy. Enjoy your vacation. Ross says, flip a coin. Yeah, you know, right now it's kind of in the middle of this channel too, a little bit more on the upside. But again, if you are in Nvidia, selling some calls, not a bad idea, right? Especially right now, you got, you know, some premiums. You know, I was looking at the options, crazy premiums. If I got 11 point swing from the options market, and I see a clear resistance here, I'm looking at around that 140, 141 maybe. You know, but again, you know, you got to ask yourself if you're okay to cap your profit potential while mitigating risk, right? Because that's what the covered call does. Glenn goes on vacation and the market starts to cry. Glenn, come back here. The markets need you, buddy. We need to call Jerome Powell, right? Ritesh, Bitcoin. We'll take a look at Bitcoin through iBit. But like I said before, or this morning, and what I've said before, it doesn't matter what I think about crypto, right? With such large market caps in Bitcoin, it really has to start getting adopted by the masses in order to get that market cap higher, right? And what I mean by that, the reserves, the state reserves. I've seen articles where, you know, a lot of these states that were talking about reserves kind of fallen by the wayside, right? And obviously with, you know, Bitcoin on the pullback, this is where all the Bitcoin naysayers come in, right? So you really got to look at Bitcoin from a longer term perspective, see where we can find the levels of support, right? Because until I see, you know, Mag 7 or large cap companies putting Bitcoin as an asset on their balance sheet, or these reserves, whether state, national, whatever it may be, start, you know, becoming adopted for Bitcoin, I see trouble ahead, right? We've seen a lot of, you know, pretty tight trading range, but now it's into the 80,000s, so just be careful there. But I do see opportunity of Bitcoin coming back in the near future. That's why I never got back into it. I got into it at 99,000, it popped up, and then came back down. I think in my AMA portfolio, I took like a 2 or 3% loss on it. I haven't got back into it yet because I'm waiting to see, you know, what, not necessarily legislation. I have not talked about app yet, Fox. I have not talked about app. But really just waiting to see, you know, as far as the reserves and things of that nature, right? So if you haven't bought into Bitcoin or things like that, I wouldn't rush to do it, right? If you are, you know, ask yourself what your threshold of pain is, and ask yourself if you're just trading or if you're a long time, you know, hodl or whatever, whatever it may be, right? But that would be the catalyst I see for Bitcoin going up. All right. So let's click. Ooh. Here's super micro, right? This is the 200-day moving average. So now look at rejection there, right? We've got gapped above it, rejection. Even with the financials, the clarity coming in there, the compliance, a lot of hype this morning. But Ryan, do you see the wedge pattern? Bill, on which stock? Which stock do you speak of? Are you talking about Nvidia? When? Oh, this right here? Yeah. This is what Bill's talking about right here. So that's the wedge pattern. If it break, you got a lot of good levels of support coming from a technical perspective here, right? You've got the trend line here from the wedge pattern. You got the 200-day moving average. But all that can be thrown out the window, when it comes to the earnings itself. Now, do I think they're going to beat earnings, beat revenue expectations? Yes. By how much? That is the question. But really the guidance going forward. Does Nvidia still plan have this monumental growth going forward, right? And how long can this be sustainable? Right now, it seems pretty logical. Everybody wants their chips, right? Some of these chips, there's not even enough of them, right? Now, 129, yeah, that is a huge upper wick. Looks like, let's see what the intraday movement is. Yeah, so all that hype out of the morning. There's the 200-day intraday. As soon as it broke below that 200-day intraday, that's 1 minute bars here. This is the 129 level I'm on. Looks like the market also wanting to utilize my level here. I can see a lot of rejections on here. Let's see here. PPC hit a new high. Must be those golden chicken nuggets with AI capability. All right, here's Amazon. Amazon, I want to take a look at. I have to see it get above this level of resistance here. And again, we're seeing another upper wick, just like Nvidia. These Mag 7 stocks are showing weakness going into Nvidia's earnings. So if you're in it, I'd say the midway point of this candlestick right here, this bottom wick. Sorry, not the candlestick, the whole bottom wick. Probably around the midway point there. Otherwise, I'm not a buyer of it yet. Let's take a look at this one here. Snowflake, also retracing quite a bit. It does have earnings today. Sitting right in this zone here as a resistance level right now. The 200-day moving average way down here at 140. But look at this gap that we never quite filled, right? If you're in it, I'd look at the swing low here. If we get, approaching the swing low, especially if we surpass it, definitely get more defensive. But I can't get behind, at least as far as the chart pattern. I'm not going to pretend like I know everything about Snowflake, but we'll get a sense of what investors are thinking, where the sense of momentum is. Come from their earnings. All right, let's add some stuff here. Growth rate, don't like that. Earnings per share is forecasted. Was rising, but now it's falling, lower than it was 12 months ago. Don't like that. Valuation, way overvalued. Yeah, with the market conditions right now, I just don't see this stock being the one to have. IONQ is also having earnings today. Ooh, interesting. That I did not realize. That'll be a good one to look at. Hopefully that'll put some more momentum back in the quantum stocks. We shall see. All right. So for a special treat for you today, since Glenn is gone, now I used to use a strategy here, looking at the most undervalued stocks in the NASDAQ 100, right? One of the stocks is brought to my attention, Facebook, well, Meta. But that's when it was around $300, right? It was actually like the number one, number two. This was a while ago when I did the videos. I don't know if you guys remember that when I used to put out the shorts and resort, the NASDAQ 100 watch list, price divided by value. These are the stocks. I just ran the search maybe 20, 30 minutes ago, so it probably should still be the same. But if you want to refresh it, just go to the watch list itself. These are the most undervalued stocks in the NASDAQ 100, right? Let's do that. Right click, auto fit. There we go. SMCI, top of the list, right? Yeah, Bill, Nvidia, I did see that wedge, right? We found a level of support there. Now, as far as these are the stocks the most undervalued in the NASDAQ 100. So let's resort these. Micron, at the top of the list here. I'd put that one on your radar. Look, sales growth rate, 84%. Growth rate, 33%. We got SMCI closer to the top of the list. Again, these are the most undervalued NASDAQ 100 stocks. And our valuation is not a price target. No, it is not. It's just what we currently feel the stock is worth. Our stocks, our investors willing to pay a premium for a stock, right? This is an interesting look. It's Warner Brothers at the top. Google. I do like Google. Well, Google's got two here. Applied. Let's do this. And honestly, because I was going to get rid of, any kind of, negative or zero sales growth, like this one here, maybe this one. This one doesn't look that exciting. Actually, we'll leave Lulu. So those are the ones with weak forecasted Electronic Arts there. Linda says she's made some money swing trading Micron this past year. Let's see here. Check out long base on NTAP. These guys make money. EPS out today. That's NTAP. Now, I just wanted to put some fish on your radar. Take a screenshot, create a watch list, whatever it may be. But these here are the most undervalued stocks in the NASDAQ, right? And look at some of these names. We got some bargains here. Micron. SMCI, they've got a lot of news, very volatile. You know about SMCI, right? Qualcomm, Google, AMD. AMD is pretty much in my buy zone between 100 and 106. Am I going to buy it today? No, not just before Nvidia's earnings. Let's see here. But AMD is really getting close. Now I think I'm waiting more so on the market right now than AMD itself. We got Adobe, Amgen. What else we got? Meta. Okay, even with the run up, here is Meta, right? Let's just, I believe it was last fall. So let's just go to like October. Yeah, Meta, here it is in the list. One of the most undervalued. And that was back in October. I want to say that was around the same time that's 576. So yeah, it would have been before that. So maybe earlier, late summer, earlier in the fall. Because it was in the threes, I want to say it was. But yeah, utilizing, especially if you're, and this is more of you could use it to trade, but really a strategy for investing. Especially with the MTI getting lower. I know some people are going to get anxious and want to do some bottom fishing, things of that nature. Let the trade come to you. But if you ever want, some good guidance, going to the NASDAQ 100 watch list, because they're already, NASDAQ 100, pretty, solid list of stocks there. This will let you know where the deals are within the NASDAQ 100. As of right now, this is where the deals are with the NASDAQ 100. All right. 230. Woo. So let's go ahead and look at some of the earning stocks before I take your pick. So we'll get Nvidia out the way. I think Salesforce. Oh. CRM. Duh. Should have known that one. Let's see here. What we got? IONQ and Snow. And then NTAP. We got Bud reported earnings, someone said. So let's take a look at Bud. All right. So Nvidia, we're seeing Nvidia here again. We've got the wedge here, and also a descending channel. Pretty wide channel, not going to lie. A lot of volatility here. But you can see that channel has really taken place here for the last few months since December. Here's Salesforce. Sitting right at this level of resistance here, bearish momentum. I can't quite get behind this trade right now. Obviously, you know, if you got some research, some news story, something like that, you know, especially just breaking into a new low, can't get behind that one right now. Snowflake. Yeah, if it surpasses, make a new low. But look, we're entering the gap here. We failed to close it last time. I mean, it's quite the gap, not going to lie. Was that an earnings gap? It was an earnings gap. If we look here, I mean, earnings gap down. It gapped up and then gave it away. Gap down. Gap up. So let's take a look, see what kind of forecast. Earnings per share, rolling over. Valuation, greatly overvalued. Growth rate earnings on the decline. And sales growth rate on the decline. So yes, not gonna be a fan of Snowflake at this time. Here we've got IONQ. The growth rate earnings is on the rise. I do like that. Sales growth rate rising, lower than it was 12 months ago, but has been on the rise, you know, from this initial dip here back in March 2024. Strong sell rating. You know, I've got these levels here. Oh. Buyers came in right at that level. Not seeing the follow through today. IONQ, yeah, I can't get into it right now. I mean, it's greatly overvalued. And I'm not going to enter this as a trade, you know, 2 hours before the earnings comes out. Let's see here. John says, I hope all of you are hedging your stocks with puts. I hedge SFM, GoDaddy, Pega, and didn't lose because of the puts of those huge declines. Sure, if it goes up, you lose, but it's insurance. Amir, he will be back, I think Monday or Tuesday. He'll be back next week, first thing. But yeah, IONQ, I wouldn't be a buyer as of right now. If I'm a trader, I'd wait obviously till after earnings, but I'd have to see more follow through here. I just can't get too enthused about it right now. Here's NTAP, greatly undervalued stock. Stock really hasn't done anything. Pretty tight trading range of the last 4 months. 124. Yeah, I'd have to see it go up about $10 here. 134 is the resistance zone I see here. That's less than 10%. So I'd give up that little bit of a wiggle room. I know we're sitting right at this level of resistance here, 126, but there's not much room until the next one. So you could play it a quick trade. Otherwise, if you want some real confirmation, take this out. But look at that valuation. It just keeps rocking and rolling. It's close to $180. Now we're trading at 124. I do like this. I do like this a lot here. If I scroll over, it's using that 200-day. I don't like this upper wick. So, again, the market. The market's got to come to us. Now is not the day to be buying stocks. Let's see where we're at here. Ooh, the NASDAQ decided to go positive. Dow Jones coming off those session lows. It wasn't to the 200s here. All right. What time is it? 2:33. You know what? Let's do customer picks. Let's go ahead and because with Glenn gone, of course, we can't go over his stocks. I'm not going to add any stocks to my portfolio today. So, yeah, let's go into customer picks. Go ahead. Give me some symbols here. We're going to start off with 20 stocks. What do we got? 25 minutes, 20 stocks. We can do that. All right, let's start typing these in. Oh, Bud. I think I forgot to put that in. Bud. Yeah, I've seen QNCCF taking some pretty big hits as of recent. I think it was around 50 cents last time I looked. But again, that was hype coming off the quantum, right? As a quantum penny stock. Oh, SNEX. POWL. see where we're at here. Yeah, there it is, down 16%. But look at this. 314, greatly overvalued. Safety not there. We're going to take a look at that in a little bit more detail. We're at 14. Where was I at? Oh, SoFi. SFM. KGC. And that'll put us at 20. Yes, Linda, thank you for encouraging. Hit that like button. Today we didn't go off the likes. I just gave you the 20 stocks there. Hit that like button. Let's get this thing going, right? Now, at the top, we got Orla Mining, right? Mining's been hot. Someone put in a mining company at the Power Hour earlier, and it was just going down, down, and down. I was like, ugh. All the mining stocks out there. Mining's hot, gold, rare earth, all that good stuff. But look at the stocks y'all are giving me. We're seeing a lot of optimism, other than AppLovin, down 16%, and eMotion, now it's at 51 cents. Two very overvalued stocks here. Again, this is Quantum, and it's a penny stock, so I'm not surprised by the move here. But let's take a look at Graph All. That's a beautiful chart pattern. We've talked about this before, right? There's not much more than I can say that value is going up, price action is going up. I'm going to add two more stocks, CLS, CH, RD. All right, those are the last two. I'm not familiar with those. That's why they got my attention. All right. Oh, wait. All right, Graph All. This is beautiful. I mean, earnings per share on the rise, growth rate on the rise, sales growth rate on the rise. Looks like it's trying to knock out the previous high. Let's go to 3 months. Nice full-bodied candlestick today. Let me take off this 8-day. There we go. It's above the 20-day EMA. I like everything I see here, especially with the volatility in the market. We know why gold is why gold, silver, really any commodities is hot right now, right? Geopolitical concerns, inflation, tariffs, all that good stuff. I don't see that going away by any means. And look, so if you're not in it, hey, take out the prior high, right? That's always a good thing. Wait for some confirmation. Look around 762, maybe take it out, 5, 6 cents, just get some confirmation there. Otherwise, if you want to jump in, 727, full-bodied candlestick. I mean, Nvidia's not going to affect this stock. This is a mining company. You never know, but I'm not too concerned about Nvidia's earnings, getting into this. As long as it stays above this 20-day EMA right here. Look, this has kept us in the trade quite some time, right? We go to 6 month. Actually, worked pretty well for trading. But even the 200-day moving average still on the rise. I just like this. This looks good. Forecasted data looks good. Everything looks good here, this gold and silver. What does GRT stand for? Great question, James. Growth rate and earnings. It's forecasted growth rate. I believe it's the leading 2 to 3 year forecast. Earnings growth rate. EPS, this is not going to be the same as you see in your broker. So don't bother telling me our EPS is wrong. This is a 12-month leading forecast of earnings per share. I know our old data provider was Reuters. I'm almost positive it's NASDAQ now, right, Joey? Because we went to NASDAQ. I think it is NASDAQ. So yeah, it's high quality data. We crunch the numbers here. And then look, and then sales growth rate, same kind of thing, forecasted data, right? So all the bottom here is forecasted data. Up top, we got valuation, right? With 2 moving averages. We got the 20-day EMA, more for traders, swing traders, things of that nature. And then we got 200-day moving average, get a sense of long term. But yeah, GRT, growth rate and earnings. Orla, good company. This is another beautiful stock. I can see why these stocks are at the top of the list of all the stocks you put in here. This has been doing my favorite chart pattern for the last 6 months. Price action on the rise, value on the rise. The stock is undervalued, right? The price action remains above the 20-day EMA, so I am, think this is good for swing trading purposes, right? Earnings per share, that's going to be that engine to drive growth, right? Because if earnings is not driving growth, then typically it's just hype and news, right? And hype and news can only last so long. And that's usually where you get the rug pulled out. Let's see here. Linda, what's up with SNX sales growth rate? Yeah, it took a big, Glenn would call that a poopy drop, right? Let's see here. That doesn't look pretty. It went from 87 to 43. So yes, big drop there. I'm glad the growth rate earnings did not drop because of that. At least the forecast has not been changed yet. But earnings per share did tick up as well. But overall, I mean, we got nice steady price action, undervalued, everything's on the rise, forecasted data, other than the sales growth rate. It looks good here. But the sales growth rate still coming in at 43%. And for an undervalued stock to have, sales growth rate 43%, hey, I like it. Keep in mind with BSR this low, it's harder to find stocks hitting new highs. And that means your base breakouts fail more often. Just my observations. Yes, John. No, that's actually a great observation. I can definitely get says yes, with the market sentiment right now, yeah, you're not going to get the strength of breakouts as you might before. But yeah, Linda, John, great observation there. Glad you mentioned that in the comment section. Actually, let me post that one. I always forget to post these. There we go. Now that is that right, Joey? Yep, there it goes. It popped up. I see it. All right, here we got Kinross Gold Corp, right? Again, gold is hot right now. I get it. Geopolitical tensions, hedge your portfolio, whatever it may be. But even from a trader's perspective, hey, we're seeing momentum here. This stock was at its low, $8.31. We're now at $11, right? Value on the rise, price action on the rise, earnings per share on the rise, growth rate, sales growth. It's hitting all the check boxes here, right? The only thing is from a trader's, it's below the 20-day EMA, right? We're sitting at a level of support here. If you want to get some confirmation, hey, get back above that 20-day EMA. For my investors, it is above that 200-day moving average, well above it. 200 days on the rise. Everything's on the rise, so this is a good one. Gold is hot. Commodities are hot. Oil, that run, we'll see what happened there, but oil not so hot right now. At least as far as the stocks, I have to take a look at, but the price, like Brent, WTI, pressure today. Lilly, it's done a whole lot of nothing. The GLP-1 gave it a lot of hype. Values on the rise. We value at 600, still trading at quite the premium here, $900. Linda, just hate losing money in 2021 when we peaked and started turning. I saw breakouts, then they roll over. Yeah, the market will affect individual stock breakouts. No doubt about that. As far as Eli Lilly, I see the momentum there. Looking at it more of as a trade. You can draw a freehand line, 8-day, 3-day, whatever kind of moving averages, MACD. But yeah, I do see it more as a trade right now. We could potentially get a breakout. We got 969. Right now we're at 913. We're getting pretty close to that level. I wouldn't be that optimistic right now. Valuation's flat. Sales growth. This one's hard. 30, 36. It's not a bad stock to be in. If you own it, hey, you got nothing to worry about, especially if you bought it more than 2-3 weeks ago. You got yourself a nice cushion. If you're trading, actually, look, the 200-day and the 20-day EMA are like all right here. So this is around 841. So right, not 841 on the dot, but look at that 200, look at that 20-day EMA, this level of support. It's all right around the same zone, right? That's where I would put my stop at if I was to get into this position. Lilly announced spending tons on manufacturing. This is a long hold for me. Hey, and they probably, and I think a lot of that was for the GLP-1, right? Because of the demand, was it there? And they didn't have enough money, enough manufacturing capability. That's where the likes of like Hims and some of these other, off-brand GLP-1s kind of, come in the race. Holding with house's money. Okay, Feds, that's a good way to play it. And honestly, maybe selling some calls here on Lilly here soon, right? Because we got some, some clear levels of resistance coming in. So, obviously, if you look on RSI, 9-day RSI, it's probably going to be, a little bit more on the overbought side of things, just because it's moving right. Yeah, 77. So not a bad idea. Look at when earnings comes out. But other than that, I'd be more concerned about, mitigating risk through selling a call. A great company sold options in that one so many times. Okay, yeah, I get it. I can see why selling options on this would be a nice play. Here we've got CLS. CLS undervalued, right? Pullback last few days, probably why a lot of people are going to talk about CLS. For my traders, we already broke the 20-day EMA. Not a good sign, right? Let's go to 3 months. It is undervalued. For my investors, it is above its 200-day EMA. For my investors. Oh, clear the chat. Sorry. What's your take on Nvidia? Just prediction. Ooh, we're going to talk about Nvidia. But RD Vector, did you see that Nvidia is moving in a descending channel right now? And with the option implied volatility of 11-point swing, even if we do get to the upside, I can see a potential rejection. But again, we can go off technicals all day, but it really just depends what Jensen Wong has to say, right? But we'll get back to Nvidia before we head out of here. CLS, again, with all our market timing signals down, look at the rejection here, 20-day. I've mentioned this before. When we break a level, usually we look for retest, right? We broke the 20-day EMA, retesting it now. I see rejection at that retest. So, I'd be more defensive than, willing to just start coming in here and buying some shares of CLS. Earnings per share on the rise. Growth rate decline. Sales growth rate decline. Even though they decline, still at respectable levels. Stock is undervalued. So, an investment perspective, yes, I like it. From a trade perspective, I don't like it right now. Even an investment perspective, not with this rejection at the 20-day EMA, right? If you do get in here, I'd put a stop, pretty tight stop, right at this low, right? Because if we take out this low, we're going to get a rejection plus a new low, right? And then that puts us over here in this territory. And then 200-day. There's a lot of things. Yeah, I'd be more bearish than bullish, right? And it's electronic right now. So NVIDIA's earnings, obviously, will have a toll on electronic stocks and this stock in particular. There we got Sprouts Farmers, overvalued, valuation flat. Again, look, same kind of thing here, right? We broke through the 20-day EMA, come back up, getting rejection right at that 20-day EMA. Not a fan here. Not a fan at all. I'm not going to be a buyer today, because we're getting rejections at these levels, plus, all our market timing signals are down. So I'm not here for that. Here we got aerospace, defense company, nice lower left, upper right, is above that 20-day EMA. So if you're trading it, yeah, I'd still be in it. Probably would have got concerned yesterday or day before just because we had wicks down here. But no clear break yet like we had here, right? 200-day moving average still on the rise. Let's go to 1 year. Okay, that's a smooth price action. Lower left, upper right. I like what I see. Value's on the rise. So the value's not flat, so that's a good sign. Because I don't like, see a stock on a great run, especially a year-long run, and value just remain flat. And I know Palantir. And actually, we're going to talk about Palantir. I forgot about that stock. Maybe it's in this list. And this is what you don't want here. See that 200-day moving average? See support, 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 support. Break. Not good. Not good at all. Sell recommendation. Yeah, I can't get bullish here at all. I don't. Why would you get bullish? We got a rejection here at 150. We got let's see, zoom in. Okay, we have one green candlestick and then rejection at the first resistance level. Can't get in there. Another long base stock. MLI, what a base, going nowhere. A lot of bases here. But yeah, the Deckers, again, the sentiment of the market right now is bearish, right? Protects the profits along the way. You know me, I especially if you're trading, I keep things as simple as possible because I don't like to have too many rules. Look, there's a trend line. Boom, boom. That would have been your clear definition of the trend right there. You would have known of it shortly after that because there's your touch. Here's your second touch. And since then, boom, there's my first warning sign. Broke my trend line. My second warning sign is this big gap down with a sell rating to last nonetheless. And this was around $200. Now it's at 145. Don't become emotional, right? Especially if you're trading. If you're an investor and you plan on holding this for a while, sell some calls against it every now and then, right? Don't be scared of that, especially when you get confirmed downs, DEW downs, things of that nature, right? Because if we see our confirmed down, let's see here. I got a camera in the way. Oh, there we go. That's why I'm looking around. All right, confirmed down, right? Boom. So we're going to confirm down. Stock's pretty flat, right? Touches my line here. Touches it again here. So you might, think about taking some profits off the table or at least selling a call against it. But definitely with this gap down here, boom. And with this gap down, if you were to sell a call here because of the volatility from that gap down, you'd actually be able to get a lot of money from that gap down. If you didn't want to close it, I was thinking more of an investor, because I know a lot of times you buy stocks, you don't necessarily want to sell it. It's like my mom, little market jitters aren't going to get her out of a stock. But that's kind of how I play Decker. I mean, as of right now, if you're still in it, your emotions have gotten probably the best of you. Let's be honest there. And right now, I'm not liking that rejection, that upper wick right at this level of resistance here. Best bullish case scenario ever. We try to jump up and retest this 200-day or this 20-day EMA, but we're just not even seeing that optimism yet. Here's GTLS, Chart Industries. You can see my chart pattern here, a little ascending channel. Valuation on the rise. But now it's starting to look at that, retesting that 20-day EMA. It's a general theme right now. When the market's bullish, usually we're retesting these from the top end, right, on the dips. But now, as the market's rolled over, a lot of these stocks are retesting these 20 days from the bottom end, and that's not necessarily good. Falling under the 50 with adios muchacho for me. Yeah, other moving averages, and honestly, if not you use these or not, you should look at them. And the reason why I look at these, 20-day EMA, 40-day moving average, 50-day moving average, and 200. I don't have 200. 200-day moving average. The reason why I would look at those is because typically, investors, traders, they'll create little pivots around those, and you can find trades around those, right? So I'm sure if I added a 40-day and a 50-day to these, as well, you got the death cross. If the 50-day cross is below the 200-day, that is known as a death cross. That's not a good sign at all. I believe it's 50-day. Yeah, it's a 50-day for the death cross, right? 50, 200, right? It's not the 100, 200. It's 50, 200. I'm almost positive. What the deli man starts talking about a stock, that's often a bad sign. I knew when my aunt wanted to buy some crypto a couple weeks ago, that was a bad sign for crypto. And crypto hasn't really done much since then. It's actually gone down. But yes, that is true, John, because when everyone starts joining on the bandwagon, the people don't even know about the stock or the crypto, that's usually your first sign that says, hey, maybe I should start trimming some profits or start hedging, right? But all right, so we got GTLS. As long as it stays above this support, but I'm looking for confirmation above the 20-day EMA. Again, this is petroleum right now. Petroleum, I think we're going to see a pause on petroleum stocks up until we get closer to summer. But again, tariffs, geopolitical situations can always change that. I know tanker sanctions, Iranian sanctions, those are going to be the big factors driving the oil market right now, the global oil market, which, these petroleum stocks will then follow suit of what the global oil market does. All right, here we got Powell. Nothing good. So this is what I'm talking about. Retest. Broke out, came right back, retest. Nope. And the 20-day just crossed below the 200-day. Price actions below the 200-day. We got two levels of resistance right here. I got an upper wick showing rejection. Nope. It got powed. Yes, Linda. It got powed. I see. Look at that. Valuations on the rise still. Even with price decline, valuation a little bit lower than it was before, but still pretty high. I think you're getting a bargain here. I think the forecasted data is a concern. Got earnings per share on the rise. Growth rate earnings and sales growth rate rolling over. Let's go to a 1 year. Let's see what's going on here. Yeah, you're going to have two very serious levels of resistance. And the fact that there were no buyers, no pivots, I see a little pivot here. But there wasn't much of a, optimism, I should say. I was about to say moment, but optimism for the bulls. That's why I always, look at levels, look at what kind of pivots. I'm not seeing that. I'm seeing a rejection. Nothing I want to see for the bull. And if I'm bullish, I don't want to see any of this stuff, right? I wouldn't sleep on the stock, though, because once the stock gets out of its own way, it's still got 41% growth rate in earnings, sales growth rate 24%, valuation way higher than what it's currently trading at right now. So this one, maybe put on your shopping list. See what opportunities might come in the future. But right now, no. There's too much risk I see and not enough reward between that and the market. Here we go. We got RSI. So I've said this before, and I've said it with Palantir and things like that. I don't mind a stock being overvalued and going up like this. Hey, especially hot spaces. AI. This turns out to be leisure. Investors are willing to pay a premium, right? But look at the valuation, also taking off, right? It's at 13. Let's use a date line here. The valuation was under $1 a year ago, and now the valuation just over $8. Stock's trading at 13, right? We do got our sell rating, right? Ideally, if I'm not in it, I'd want to see this thing come down to the 200-day moving average. Yeah, this channel. I'm going to, if you're in it and you've had a nice run over the last year, don't lose the profits. You take some off the table here, the first level of support, but definitely this 200-day moving average, maybe taking some more off the table or that, whatever it may be. But look at this rejection again. The whole market, every stock we see today, we got upper wicks on it. Looks like, right? There's not many that have not been the case, and that kind of gives you the sentiment of the market right now. What is it? 257. I can barely see. I think I need to go to the eye doctor along with the hearing doctor. So I've said this before, right? Value on the rise, price action on the rise. That's my favorite pattern, right? So what do you think I'm going to talk about this stock? Value on the decline, price action on the decline, 20-day cross below the EMA. The EPS dropping, growth rate dropping, sales growth rate dropping. Nope. Not. Let's go to 5-year. 1932. This upper wick here, or this upper, yeah. I'll probably put about $20. We're getting close to potentially level support, but again, with the market the way it is right now, I'm not in a rush to buy this stock. Everything I see here is not what I want, right? Right, Linda? It's poopy. But yeah, even if you're a trader, the 20-day EMA, we're getting rejection. A lot of just about every candlestick in this row is a rejection on that 20-day EMA. So yeah, I can't get behind that one right now. Here we got Amsizer, Bush, Bud Heavy, Bud Light. Let's see here. I'd have to see. I know they had earnings. Was it this morning or yesterday after the bell? I forget. But you can see the gap up here clearly. Let's look at the 1 day, see where the sentiment is. The whole movement's in the gap up. After the gap up, the stock really hasn't moved much. Stock is overvalued. Well, that's the one good thing. It's finally back above that 200-day moving average of price, right? So let's see. Let's give it a couple candlesticks. It's already had this big move. If you got in before earnings and you got the gap up, hey, you got a cushion, right? You got a little bit of a cushion. UVIX, Ross, that could be a lot of fun. UVIX. If you don't know what UVIX is, that's 1.5 leverage of the VIX volatility index. So yeah, it's very volatile in nature. Let's go to 1 year. Not much going on. Dropped like a rock. And the only thing of optimism I see here is back above the 200-day moving average. But the company still way overvalued. Growth rate 3%, sales growth rate 2%. I think there's a lot better stocks there. I I could see this almost as like a defense play, kind of like utility or some of the food companies. You know, alcohol, pretty safe bet overall. So I could see why it has been right. You see the confirmed down, going down with the market. I could see why it's been on the rise as of late, especially when I went into the guess Bud finally got woke. I like German beer. The only reason why I don't like Budweiser is just because I see the culture of the breweries, right? So I don't know what Budweiser in their brewery portfolio, like the small local breweries, because I know these bigger companies are buying some of these smaller breweries to get into that portfolio. I could see that only being better with Budweiser if they were able to increase that space. Because if we look at, let's go 5 years here, right? The stock's done nothing in 5 years. And that's because they're just looking at consumer behavior pattern of drinkers and stuff like that. You went from, Miller Lite, Bud Light, Budweiser. I was a Budweiser person, Yingling, things of that nature. But now you got these microbreweries, local breweries, right? And they're doing a great job stealing the thunder of some of these big companies here. Personally, I'm a Mick Ultra fan now. I think that's like the top selling beer probably, next to Modelo, if I had to guess. I do like Modelo too. But here's Budweiser. It just hasn't done anything for me. I can't really get behind it right now. I do like the gap up. But as long as if we get a couple candlesticks above that 200-day moving average, hey, I'd feel more better about it. But just one day, right at a level of resistance, I'm not sold quite yet. Here we got VU. This is Vanguard S&P 500. I like it. This is about as smooth as you're going to get, especially if you want to play the whole market. Let's just do a freehand line. We're coming on this level again. You see that? Boom, boom. Another touch here. So if we break this, it's probably not a good sign just for the general market because this is looking at the large caps, right? So a lot of these large cap companies clearly at a critical level when it all comes together, right? Ultra has become the beer for Bud. They even have a new Ultra Zero. They got Mick Ultra Zero? Interesting. One beer I did like was the Corona Premier. That was a good one. Bud owned by Ambev, Brazil. I did hear they got bought out. Guess Bud finally oh yeah, I didn't read that one. But yeah, for the big caps, we're at a pretty critical level, right? And I feel like we always are around NVIDIA's earnings. It's all riding on NVIDIA's earnings, and we'll see if they can save the day. Jensen Huang, that's what it comes down to. I could give you opinions on NVIDIA all day, but it just depends what he says and how the market takes it, right? Here's AppLovin, way overvalued. And actually, we're going to skip AppLovin for just a quick. We're going to come back to AppLovin. We're going to come back to AppLovin. I promise we're coming back. We're coming back. JEPQ, don't like it at all. It's just tight trading range. Momentum's to the downside over the last 5 days. SoFi, it's still in this trading range. I don't know what pattern this is. This line's probably a mistake. But look, the valuation not rising, right? I'm not here for it. I'm not here for it at all. I was talking about this stock way down here. I think it was a little bit further ago. It didn't do anything, so I stopped talking about it. But yeah, I think that momentum trade is coming to an end. Let's see here. We got Cord Energy. I see the dip here. If we could break out, surpass these two highs, we got a little run for the next. But again, just like some of these other stocks, we're at the bottom end of that 20-day EMA, trying to surpass it, right? Tight consolidation. And it's petroleum too. So like I said, petroleum is probably going to take a breather for a moment. You got to look at see what's going on geopolitical level. Glenn was never in love with AppLovin. I'm not in love with it either. I don't think I've ever done a video on AppLovin. Here's INTC, Intel. Now the stock is overvalued, right? It was undervalued. The valuation is kind of going everywhere. I've seen potential buyouts. There's Broadcom, TSM's wanting a piece of this. But do you know who can stop any corporate takeover of Intel? And it's in their contract. They've been partners for a long time. Who can stop any? Who has to be at the negotiation table of any buyout of Intel right now? I was just reading an article on this morning. I didn't realize it. It makes sense to me. It's AMD, right? Nope, it's AMD because I have to do more research, but if I had to guess, it's probably going to have to do with their x86 architecture, which is the rival against ARM. TSMC is the ones trying to buy them out. Kiwi, it's TSM and Broadcom. But yeah, AMD, because of their partner, it was just an article, but just because I know a lot about AMD and Intel, if I had to guess, it's because of that x86 partnership. Like the ARM architecture, this is the same thing as the x86 architecture, where AMD and Intel actually work together to create it. So AMD will have a seat at the table there. And with AMD, like I said, my buy price, I've been talking about $100. We're getting close to there. It's wanting to break out of that channel. We're kind of sidelining. I think AMD is going to shape up for a good trade here. And I have a feeling if anything can really, spruce AMD to get on the bullish run again, it'll probably be some news with this Intel and see what kind of negotiations come out of it. Because essentially AMD is trying to up their contract because they can renew their contract with the new company. So I think I might squeeze a couple dollars out of the buyer if I had to get. That would be my play if I was AMD. I would leverage this to the max if I was AMD, right? And I forgot, it was either CNBC or Seeking Alpha. I'm trying to think where I saw the article. Tomorrow's Semiconductor Thursday. Maybe the video will be on AMD. I haven't done an AMD video in a while. Let me see what I can find out. But that's kind of the gist of what I got from the article today, and just what I know with AMD and Intel, their x86. They got a lot of partnerships. So, AMD is going to be sitting at the table with Broadcom and TSM. Here's QNCC. Look, up. Oh no, quantum stock's not the hot anymore. Pew, down. Let's just be honest about it. That's what happened. This was a momentum trade, nothing else, right? It's not a valuation trade. I'm not a value, not a value trade, right? Earning growth rate, negative 8%. Sales growth rate, 0%. We added this to the database. A customer requested it, added to the database. And when we added it, hey, this thing was taking off like a rocket. But it's a quantum stock, It's hype driven, right? If LAS and IonQ and all the other ones, start popping off again, this one's probably, going to go along with it, if I had to guess, right? But with the market sentiment, the bearish market sentiment, the way it is, and if you haven't noticed right now, with geopolitical concerns, rising, inflation over the last few months, risk off has been kind of the route I see the market going right now. I haven't found an American beer I like, but I was in Germany years ago when I started drinking. So, hey, try some of the local breweries. It depends what kind of beer you like, but local breweries they've got some good beer. All right, so we are going to look at what is it? Oh, PLTR, App 11, and this is how we're going to end today. Here's Palantir, right? Now Palantir. It's so crazy. So I was messing with this line here, this top line, because I was trying to get a projection of where it might go, and it hit that line right on par. Right, you see the rejection there, and you can see my channel lines here. It looks like it's finding level support at $88. If it breaks this level, guess what? It's going to go back into this channel, right? This channel that it was in for a while. But this is the thing with Palantir, right? The valuation is flat. It's starting to tick up finally. Me and Glenn talk about this, right? Damn, Ryan, that line rocks. What line, Linda? But yeah, especially with the doji candlestick today, I'm not here, again, protect profits. Because from a trader's perspective, right? Look, here's the trade. Boom. Above the 20-day EMA, worked out great, right? Look at this. Breaks it. Hey, that's cool. And I'm a trader. I can get back in. Look at the consolidation. Ryan teaches me about consolidation, looking for a pivot. Boom, nice pivot. Back above the 20-day EMA. Play it again. Look, now it's broke below, right? So if I'm a trader, take some profits off the table. Mitigate risk at this point. Glenn said AMD comeback stock of the year. The man that called PLTR, now he eats whole pigs like a queen. I've been talking about, I've been prepping you for this AMD trade for like 2 months now. We've just been in the descending channel. I believe it's going to do good things. And as far as, if I was going to play this here soon, I'd see what this pivot does, but I would almost I like to treat it like a ascending channel. Does that make sense? I would treat it like an ascending channel right now, right? You've got the trend line here. You've got the support zone. If it breaks it, hey, it's a quick trade and you're out. AMD down 60% from their high. Yeah. Yeah. AMD setting up. Like I have to tell you, I traded AMD, and I know that $100 level is key, and it's getting so close to it. And I've gone back and passed. Really, it's really from 97 to 106. We're in the zone right now. You have to go back in time and look at the chart and create your own levels. Wow, AMD is now a certified pooping stock. It's poopy right now, but, you know, time will tell. But Palantir, this is how I would kind of play it right now. Ascending channel. If it breaks this trend line here and it goes back on this channel, you know, who knows what's going to happen. But honestly, I know a lot of the fear was the government, the Pentagon cuts, the government cuts. But Palantir helps companies become more efficient. So I think they're going to thrive. It's just the valuation. I mean, I've seen article after article, the PE, the sales, all of these ratios, it's just way out of proportion, right? The stocks are overvalued. No ifs, whats, or buts. I'm going to treat it like a momentum trade, and right now I see an ascending channel as of right this second. All right, here's App 11. Not a good sign, right? We got the gap up. That's giving it all back here. The stock is way overvalued. Broke its 20-day EMA. I mean, it didn't even try to retest that either. It just gapped down even further. I see it moving closer to the 200-day. We got a gap right here. Yeah, that gap and the 200-day right there. That's like worst case scenario. Other than that, I do see consolidation here, and that's exactly where the buyers came in. Stay above this level of, well, it's support now, but just stay above this level right here. That's what we want. Because if it drops below this, guess what? We got a gap to fill. We got a 200-day to potentially try to test out. You are trying to use logic and how the current government. Here we go. App 11 is not crap 11. App 11 moving fast up the ranks of a possible poopy stock. Yes. I mean, you know, these software companies, they just garner a lot of hype, a lot of momentum. You know, investors are pouring it, retail traders, whatever it may be. If it hits 92, 98, I'd think about it. 98 bucks? Yeah, if it becomes undervalued, I'd definitely, you know, throw it in, and it'd be in my wish list if it became undervalued for sure. But this is the first level I'm looking at. See what happens here. We got the buying pressure, and this would be the second level, would be the gap, right? We got 200-day. And that's how I'm going to finish it out. What time is it? Joey's going to kill me. 3:13. We're always over. Yeah. Sorry, Joey. Okay. He's waiting. He can't wait for Glenn to come back. All right. Tomorrow night's video, like I said, probably going to be AMD. I'm going to do a little bit more research. I got to find that article again. RT, let's look at RT real quick. It is below 1. Yeah, it's such a big drop. I can't get behind it anymore, right? We got to wait for the next trade setup. We got to wait for the next trade setup. Let the trade come for you. Because a lot of these stocks, the market right now, nothing looks, you know, like, oh, yeah, I should go out and buy a bunch of stocks today. No. If you're going to do anything, sell some calls, defend your portfolio. That's what I would say. All right, everybody have I'd say have a wonderful afternoon, but I will see you back hour 30, 4:45 live stream Nvidia earnings call. We're going to see exactly if Jensen Huang can, you know, bring some encouragement back into the markets like we've had to rely on the last few earnings call, or is that VOO big cap ETF going to break its trend line? We're about to find out. Everybody have a great afternoon, and I'll see you.